Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Michael Abruzzese. Now that's a very long name, so most folks call me Dr. Mike or Dr. A. And I'm glad you're here, because if you're here, I think that means that you're interested in learning how to use psychology and psychology techniques to help improve the quality of your life and the life of the people that you love. Now I'm the author of 10 Lessons in Power Psychology, and that book is kind of a Whitman sampler of 10 different areas in life where using psychological techniques can help improve your functioning in those areas. I couldn't put everything in that book, of course, because the book would be 2,000 or 3,000 pages long. No one's going to read that. So the book is only 144 pages long. It's broken down into 10 lessons, and each lesson is very short. And after you finish reading the last page of that lesson, you can put that lesson into effect immediately. You can start doing it right away. You don't have to wait. But what I'm going to do now is share with you a technique that I didn't have space to put in the book, and that's called my +4 technique. Now, my +4 technique is based on a very old technique that I'm sure a lot of you have heard about. The technique is take a deep breath. Well, who hasn't heard about taking a deep breath? The problem with that recommendation is that some people can't take a deep breath, and so they don't bother to try. And for many people, they take a deep breath, it just doesn't help. It just doesn't help relax them, and I'm going to tell you why. We have our central nervous system, like everybody knows, but clinically it's called the autonomic nervous system, and that's broken down into two kind of categories. One is the parasympathetic nervous system, and the other one is the sympathetic nervous system. Now, both those nervous systems are responsible for keeping the functions of our body going on automatic pilot. Our respiration, our breathing, heart functioning, things like that. Things we don't really want to have to pay attention on our own because we might forget to do them. So having the autonomic or the automatic nervous system is a pretty good thing. But what the central nervous system does for us, what the automatic nervous system does for us, it just puts our body on a heightened state of awareness. It alerts us to what might be going on. It biologically alerts us to pay attention to what's happening because there's something going on that our central nervous system tells us, hey, pay attention to this. This might be a threat to us. People who've taken Psychology 101 in college or read some psych books probably have heard about something called the flight or fight response, and that's what the autonomic nervous system is responsible for. It kicks up our central nervous system into a heightened sense of awareness so our brain, our thinking part of us, can decide, wait a minute, what's going on? Do I have to pay attention to this? Should I run? Should I fight? What do I have to do about that? So that was a very handy system 15 or 16,000 years ago when we had to make it to another cave by the end of the day so I wouldn't be caught out at night, or when we had to fight animals or hunt or something like that. But nowadays that system doesn't serve us so well when we're stuck in traffic for 2.5 hours and we can't escape, or when we're in a performance review with our boss and we can't escape, or when we have to give a performance that we really want to do well on, or we have to take a test that lasts us for an hour, we can't escape that. So what we have to do is find a way to learn to teach ourselves how to deactivate the nervous system that turns on to a heightened state of awareness when we don't need it, when we don't need to have that heightened state of awareness. And how do you do that? You do that with the +4 technique. The +4 technique always works. It always works. It reduces your biological state of alertedness, commonly called stress or anxiety. It reduces it. Now, you may have to use the +4 technique repeatedly because you're in a very high state of alertedness and you have to deal with that. But the +4 technique will help you out when you're in a test anxiety situation, a stage fright situation, a performance anxiety situation, or a similar kind of situation. Applying for a job, being in an interview, having to deal with a performance review with your supervisor, it can help you out in all those situations. As always, check with your clinical professional. If you're in therapy or if you're seeing a doctor, make sure that you are seeing a professional, a licensed professional, who can help you if you have any biological, medical, or anxiety or panic conditions. But the +4 technique is a very helpful adjunct to any other kind of therapy or treatment that you might be having. And I'm going to tell you what it is, how to do it, then I'm going to do it with you. And you can see how long it takes. It'll take about 45 to maybe 60 seconds when you do it on your own. So here it is. What I'm going to ask you to do is take a deep breath in No, see, I said that word deep breath, but don't get scared because deep breath is defined by the individual. So a deep breath for you might be a shallow breath for someone else. It doesn't matter. This is your technique. This is your body. It's going to work for you. So I don't care how deep a breath you take, as long as you take a breath. Breathing is good, right? So take a breath in. It doesn't matter how deep. This is not a contest. I don't want you to hurt yourself. I don't want you to push yourself. Just take a breath in. The secret is, when you've taken your breath in, I want you to hold it for the count of 4. And again, it doesn't matter how long the count is. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's okay too. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all right too. I just want you to take a breath. I don't care how big a breath it is. I want you to hold it. And I want you to count to 4. I don't care how fast or slow you count to 4. Again, it's not an endurance contest. It's a technique to help you relax yourself, okay? So, take the breath in, hold it for the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you blow it out. Try and blow it all the way out, but don't kill yourself. Just blow it out as much as you can. Not an endurance contest. You don't have to empty your lungs totally. Don't do that to yourself. You blow it out as much as you can, and when you get to the bottom of blowing all your air out, count to 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and take a breath in. You take your breath in. Now, most people will notice that when you take that second breath in, it's a deeper breath. That's fine. It doesn't have to be, but many people notice that it is, and that's fine. But the point is, you take a second breath in, and when you get to the top of that breath, hold it for the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, then blow it out again. And when you get to the bottom of that breath, hold it for the count of 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, then inhale again. And when you get to the top of that third breath, again, you may notice that it's a deeper breath than the other two, and that's fine. But if it's not, that's fine too. Hold it for the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale. When you get to the bottom of that, hold it for the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then inhale. And just breathe normally. So 3 breaths in, 3 breaths out. Hold them to the count of 4 when you breathe in. Hold them to the count of 4 when you breathe out. That's the +4 technique. So I'm going to do it now without all this yakking, and you can time me and see how long it takes me to do it. Watch how I do it. And then you just breathe normally. Now, you may have noticed I did that a couple of different ways. Sometimes I made a lot of noise. I kept my mouth open when I took a breath in, and I left my mouth open. I made a lot of noise when I blew my breath out. Other times I just breathed through my nose when I inhaled, and I breathed through my nose when I exhaled. Either way is fine. I just want you to breathe. I don't care how you breathe. I just want you to breathe. There's no one magic way of breathing. Some people cannot take a deep breath in through their nose. Some people have trouble breathing through their nose for any kind of breath. Then why would I want you to breathe through your nose if you can't do that? Breathe through your mouth. Now, there may be some special techniques that you're learning through yoga or something else, and they tell you breathe this way, breathe that way. Well, that's fine. If you're using one of those techniques, you're learning those techniques, that's okay. But this technique, the +4 technique, works as long as you breathe. I don't care how you breathe, how deep it is, how shallow it is, how fast you count. I just want you to take a breath in, count to 4, and I want you to exhale, count to 4. Do that 3 times, and you're going to find that your anxiety level, your autonomic nervous system, activation system that sort of pumps you up to a heightened state of awareness, it's going to cool your jets down, and you're going to be able to function much more clear-headedly. So that's the +4 technique. I invite you to try it. Send me some feedback if you like at Dr. A at Dr. A+, and I'll see you next time. This is Dr. Mike signing off. Thanks.